Hey everybody, this is Flavio Romeo, and on this episode of the Towncast, we go to Borough Hall in Hawthorne, New Jersey, and we get a chance to talk to Mayor John Lane. This is his first full year as mayor, so it's kind of a state of the borough. And he shares his background and what got him involved in politics and serving his community, which he's been doing for decades now. So enjoy the episode, everybody. All right, everybody. I'm so excited about today because I'm once again I'm in the inner sanctum of Borough Hall. The last time I was at this table was with Mayor Goldberg, but today we get to celebrate Mayor John Lane's first year. Thank you so much for giving us the time.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this is year one.
Year two.
Well, we're now in year two.
In year two.
Yeah.
Just
but you have
starting.
1 year completed.
Yeah.
So before we get into this past year, I did want to, because I don't know your background. You're a lifelong Hawthorneite.
I was born and raised in Hawthorne. Basically, I was here all my life. The only time I left was to travel to New York State for college, and
Where'd you go to school?
Rockland Community College.
All right, but did you commute? You stayed there.
No, I commuted.
You did commute.
Yeah,
Look at you.
yeah. So I grew up in Hawthorne. Was a product of St. Anthony's School. Went to Hawthorne High School.
Now, was that during the time that they can slap you with the rulers, or was it
The steel rulers.
the steel? Yeah.
Yeah. I still have scars on my knuckles from the sisters.
My dad adopted that with the belt. He adopted that in the house
Well,
with the belt.
I got the ruler. I didn't get a bell.
So you grew up in Hawthorne, lived here your whole life. What is it? And I'm not asking you as a mayor. I'm asking you as a lifelong resident. What is it about this town? I have my feelings about it. What do you feel about this town that makes it so special?
Well, I just going through it. I mean, when I was in high school, we had a lot of friends, built a very good relationship. Some people were very close friends. Some people were friends, and I think that just continued on.
Do you still keep in touch with some of those people from high school?
I do. Yeah.
What year? What year?
1967, I graduated.
Shout out to the class of 1967.
Yeah.
All right.
And 2 years ago, we just had our 55th reunion.
Wow.
So yeah, everything was good. And in high school, I played sports. I played basketball, football, ran track, and after that, I went out to college, and then after that, I was asked to join the electrical union to be an electrician. So
Really?
I was accepted into the electrical union.
How old were you when you got involved?
That was 21, 22.
Okay.
So
That's a great career.
Yeah,
It's a great business.
they educated me through my apprenticeship. Then I worked for the union. I worked actually for one contractor for 11 years.
Really?
Yeah, and then after that, I took the exam for my state contractor's license. I passed that and started my own business, and was in business for 24 years in Hawthorne.
Always Hawthorne.
Always Hawthorne. Serviced a lot of businesses and residents in Hawthorne. When I started my business, that's just when they started to bring about the Chamber of Commerce again.
Oh, okay.
So that was in '72, maybe. I was asked to be on the chamber, and I was then almost immediately asked to be on the board of directors, and I was on the board of directors for about 40 years.
Wow.
And we did a lot of great things. We had the fireworks with the Caballeros
Sure.
for several years. And then, after that, what I did was while I was in business, I wanted to still go forward. So I went back to school and took the courses to be an electrical inspector.
Oh, really?
So
So you would go into the houses or businesses and make sure everything was
correct.
wired
So
right?
I sat for that exam and passed that. I got my what they call an HHS license, which is high rise, high hazard, which is the highest electrical license you can get.
Really?
Yep. So then I was still operating my business and went I applied for a job in Wawa. It was a part-time job because they were at that time they were building a lot of condos. So I was basically inspecting all the condos.
Nice.
And then they asked me to stay on full time 2 years later. And 33 years later, I retired last December. So and I was the code official up there. Then I went back to school for my housing license. I'm a housing code official in the state. I'm a hotel and multiple dwelling official in the state.
Really? Now, what does that mean?
Well, a housing official is if there's a problem in your home or anything like that, I can go in
And check.
and check and see whether it's right or wrong. And in a hotel and multiple dwellings, actually, multiple dwelling is an apartment house, or not a one or two family, but multiple family.
Sure.
To check
Like hedges?
like
Be that
hedges,
kind of-
yeah, and check for violations or to make sure everything's right, and make sure people have their fire extinguishers or their
Smoke
smoke detectors,
yeah.
carbon monoxide detectors. Make sure that the house is presentable and just livable. That sheetrock's not falling off the walls or anything like that. So I still keep those licenses up. I still take the CEU courses, and
Yeah,
go
because
from
you
there.
have to take classes every couple of years, right?
Every 3 years.
Yeah.
You need a lot of CEUs. Yeah.
Yeah, because things change.
Yeah, actually, yeah, and then getting into being an elected official in 1980. It was 81 or 82. I ran for the school board.
Really? So what inspired you to do that? Like, what was it that got you interested in
I was asked by some members on the school board at that time, would you think about running to be a school board member or a school board trustee? And I said, yeah, that sounds interesting. This way, I can hopefully apply some of my expertise to the school system regarding, their facilities.
Sure.
Because
That's probably a void that they had, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I ran and I won. And then 3 years later, I ran again and won. And then 3 years later, I ran again and won. And then I was asked when we had the change of government in before that in 1987, I think it was. There was a referendum to change the form of government from commission form of government to mayor-council form of government.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, I didn't realize that.
yeah, so I was asked to run as a councilman at large, which I accepted. Then we ran. At that time, there was 7 people on the Republican side, 7 people on the Democratic side, and 7 people on the Independent side, all running for the seats.
Wow.
And so I was successful there, and just continuing on. I was on the council for 22 years, and last 2 years ago, when Mayor Goldberg called me and he said, I'm not thinking about running again. I'm thinking about just retiring. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah. And he also did the same thing with Frank Matthews.
Sure.
Asked him, and then we both screened in front of the county committee, and the county committee selected myself to run, and we ran it. We had a campaign. We ran, and I was successful. And I started my first year. Got sworn in January 1 of 2022.
And here we are.
And here we are, and through campaigning and everything, I've noticed. Well, before that, I noticed a lot of items that I thought could use some help with regard to fixing up items and property maintenance items that I saw that were out there that could use some help.
Like what kind of items?
Just keeping your house in order, exterior.
Sure.
Cutting the grass, painting the house, just making sure your house is presentable.
Yeah. It's funny. I got one of those letters once because I was doing a lot of traveling overseas, and I got one of those letters once. And as irritated as I was, I appreciated the fact that the town cares. You're driving around. You want curb appeal.
Yeah.
You want people that are driving through our town to say, "Wow, what a pretty town."
Well, that's something that really gets to me. It's a pretty town. I've lived here, like I said, all my life, and as Margot, my wife, did too. She's a product of the borough, and I just saw things that seemed like they were going downhill.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. I wanted it to be turned around, and I wanted it to be as pristine as we can make it. I have a meeting every Tuesday with both my property maintenance inspectors and my zoning official to go over property maintenance issues, to go over zoning issues, to make sure that the people who go to a planning board, or mostly the planning board, are complying with what they've agreed to and what the board approved. There's some of them that are not, and unfortunately they get summonses because they're not complying.
Right.
And not in compliance brings down the community.
Yeah.
Because of many different facets that would go into your property as to why you're not maintaining it.
Well, and I remember last year everybody got a questionnaire, like because there's some rehabilitation that's going to start happening in town, and we got a questionnaire of, how do you feel about this? What would you think if we did this? What would you prefer to do that? Was that part of under your guidance?
That was an offshoot of the basically the property maintenance, and what that was the borough applied for a grant for NPP, which is Neighborhood Preservation Program, and we were successful. We did get that, and last year, as you may have seen, there's been I'm not going to say a lot, but there's been a number of items that have been upgraded. For instance, several years ago, we upgraded the center of town with street lights, with new traffic signals, and because we received a grant for that, and we received a second year a grant, and we continued the street lighting up Lafayette Avenue. We've applied for another grant to continue it further, but what we did was we bought brackets for the light poles so we could hang planters on them. We fixed up around the library. We also did a mural at the pool.
I like that. Yeah,
around where the wall where the kiddie pool is.
Yeah.
We fixed up the garden area by the flagpole and the monuments that are there. This year, we were selected again because it's a 5-year grant, but you have to prove yourself every year, and the state has to approve your program. So with that, we've been approved now for our second year, and we're going to, concentrate on the center of town a little bit more, around the library area.
Sure.
We wanna just make it inviting for people to come to the library to it's a beautiful day. Let's sit outside. There's nice benches out there. Let's read.
Yeah, I see more and more people sitting out in the back.
And we're doing that. We're looking out the back because it's just a big, wide open area that could be really. It could be very pristine.
Yeah, and I love that we have the farmers market during the summer.
Yeah.
In the parking lot because
so that there is a 5-year plan. So we're on year 2. We get $125,000 a year from the state, and the borough
each year for the 5 years.
Each year for the 5 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Each year, were approved, which I firmly believe we're going to be approved all 5 years. The town puts up 25,000, so the whole grant is 150,000.
Wow.
And we have that money, and anything that we spend, we have to get it approved by the state first to make sure. We have to submit a whole plan of exactly what we want to do.
Now I know there's people that are listening right now and they're saying, oh well, 150. How about if you fix this, or how about if you fix that around my house? If people, if they want to like contribute constructive thoughts and constructive criticisms, is there a way that they can communicate with you or with the planning board, or like if they say, hey, how about if we do this, or how?
Okay, well, basically, going by what the program is, it's a neighborhood preservation program. And what that area, and that's one designated area. It's not the whole town.
Okay, so yeah.
It's one designated area, and it goes from Town Hall down Lafayette Avenue, in the center of town.
To Diamond Bridge?
To Diamond Bridge, and then goes out to the park, and then down down Lafayette to Wagor Road, and then into the pool area. So it's that whole section of town.
Okay.
That's in that program, and that's the only area that we can concentrate in.
Yeah, because it has to be the town area, not necessarily residential areas up in in
Right.
hills.
That's the area that we designated originally as part when we submitted the grant application.
Right. That's awesome
So-
that the town had that.
And just going back, when I ran for mayor, in my campaign paperwork and literature, I put in a lot of campaign promises, and I'm happy to say that in my first year of office, I'm happy to say that I successfully accomplished those promises.
What were they? Can you touch on those a little bit?
Well, yes, I can. I attacked our athletic fields. Our athletic fields were in dire need of help. I had a whole bunch of clay brought in. I had our DPW down there working. We upgraded our infields, our outfields. At the WAG field, we also did the Veterans Field. We did the Franklin Field. Actually, there was a business in town who actually donated a tremendous amount of sod for us.
Oh, nice.
For the Franklin Field. And we were going to put more sod down this past fall, but due to some of the athletic schedules, we weren't able to do that. But what we did do this past year is we bought blankets for the fields.
I didn't notice that.
And we aerated them, we seeded them, and we put the blankets on it. So the blankets throughout the whole winter will help the grass grow.
Yeah, yeah.
As crazy as it sounds. So in the springtime, when we take the blankets off, the grass is already there.
Yeah, and it's tough to maintain, especially when you have rain and Passaic River comes up and just floods all the fields.
Well, we did do WAG 2 and 3 with the blankets, and like I said, we did the other fields. Some of the other items that we did was we did receive a open space grant from the county for Franklin Field's lights. And we reapplied again this year for an open space grant for additional money for the lights, so it'll save the taxpayers at least a little bit of money.
Nice.
Because the light poles that are there, actually those lights I believe came from Yankee Stadium when they renovated Yankee Stadium.
Is that right?
Yeah. And
Really?
So that we're looking to do, because that's an expensive job.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. I appointed a new Department of Public Works director. I appointed a new prosecutor and a new deputy prosecutor. And I appointed a new emergency management coordinator and new deputies to run that program. As we definitely need emergency management
Sure.
in times of catastrophes or floods or hurricanes.
And we've
or
had
whatever.
issues like that.
And we have, yeah. And
I remember down at Batagua, right? We had a whole issue down there.
there's flooding down there. And actually, this coming week, my director and one of the deputies is going to school to learn a little bit more about emergency management. And then after that, we're going to have a meeting and bring in the whole team. I appointed new people on the entire team of emergency management because my background is fire department, it's ambulance corps, it's in emergency management because I've been a fireman for 52 years.
Wow.
And I've been on the ambulance corps going into my 18th year as an EMT.
Wow.
So I really take emergency services to heart. Besides many other things.
Well, and you've been involved in so many different aspects of the community. I mean,
I
between
have, yeah.
Chamber of Commerce, Board of Education, fire, ambulance. So you had a chance to see how they all function and what's good about it and what needs some help.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, like, between the EMT school and my fire school, I picked up a lot of information with regard to a lot of the other departments filling in and knowing what to do, and I have three great chiefs on the ambulance corps, the fire department, and the police department, and I can just say accolades to all three departments for all of the members that are there, police, fire, and ambulance. They're just terrific people, and they love what they do, and they do a great job. They're fantastic, and that's why, at times, when the time comes, we have to maybe buy a new fire truck. We just bought a new fire truck, and it was delivered last year, and we're very happy with it. That's Engine Company 4, and the year before that, we bought a new truck for Truck Company 2. So we're
How long do they usually last?
They
We take it for granted they just drive around, but
well, the law says they should be looked into at least every 20 years.
Yeah.
Some communities keep them longer than 20 years. We try, we're not going to do it right at 20 years, but we're going to do it, maybe within 20 to 25 years, because our fire engines do not get the work that a career department gets, because they have a lot, like a bigger city.
Sure.
They have a lot more calls.
A lot more money.
We've had a lot of fire calls this in 2022.
Well, this past year you had like in a span of maybe 2 or 3 weeks, you had three house fires
Right.
that almost took down the whole house.
Correct.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
crazy.
Correct, and that's what I mean. Our people are just excellent in both the emergency services of what they do.
And again, just the fact that they're volunteer, just keep that in mind, because oftentimes when you see the Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, all these NYPD, when you see these shows, they're paid. These big cities, they pay their fire departments.
Yes.
This is all volunteer. Fire department, ambulance corps, it's all volunteer.
Yes.
They're doing it because they have a passion for it, and I think sometimes we forget that as a community.
It would be millions of dollars.
Yeah.
For the borough to have a career or a paid fire department, because with a paid fire department, as many of the career departments have, they incorporate the ambulance corps with it.
Yeah.
So the firefighters, the city of Patterson, if you're accepted into the program to go to school to be a firefighter, before you graduate, you have to pass the EMT state exam. Actually, it's a national exam now, and if you don't pass the exam, you're not on the fire department.
Wow.
So that's a very big thing. The other thing too is, I look at our post office, and it really upsets me when I see first of all, when I see the outside grounds, just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to use that word, but it is. And I've been talking with a gentleman who's the director with Congressman Pascrell's office, and we've been getting some things accomplished.
I see the work that they're doing on the outside.
Unfortunately, it's taken a little bit longer than normal. I mean, I went into the post office, I took a whole bunch of pictures, I took pictures of the outside and I sent them the pictures. They actually sent letters to Washington, to the Postal Service down there, just to tell them what's going on here and let's get our post office. Because I've received a lot of complaints with regard to our neighbors going to Glen Rock, going to Whitecross Post
Yeah,
Office.
just to not go to this one.
Not go to this one because of the condition of the building,
Yeah.
even inside. I mean, there's water leaks inside that are not being addressed.
Well, you walk in and it looks like you stepped into the 1950s.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I know it's very frustrating to our residents. It's extremely frustrating to me because
But your hands are.
I'm pushing our congressman's office.
Yeah, I mean it's a national.
It's a federal. It's a
federal building.
It's bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And I tell him constantly, and I actually talked to the congressman several times personally about this. Why is Glen Rock or why is Wyckoff or any other neighboring post office in very good condition? It's a pleasure to walk in there,
Yeah.
and ours has to be deplorable like this. I am not giving up.
So if anybody's listening, because I know I've seen a lot of complaints on the community pages and whatnot about the post office, they can simply send emails to the congressman too.
Absolutely.
Listen, get
Absolutely.
online, go to Congressman Pasquarello because you're handcuffed. You can't do anything because it's a federal building. So you've got to take the proper steps.
Correct.
So you want to back up the mayor, send an email to Congressman Pasquarello's office and just say, hey, listen, you got to do something. Help us out here, right?
Yeah. And just going on to a couple other things, we get phone calls quite often regard to, we had one lady give us a call and say, look, I'd like to see if the mayor would allow me to have some boxes in the foyer of the town hall because I want to collect clothes for Ukraine.
Oh, wow.
I said, absolutely. And another lady, a young girl actually, she's a college student, and she asked if it would be possible if we could collect coats for the poor, so to speak, or the homeless.
Sure.
And I said, absolutely. I mean, if you look now, when you leave here, there's a bin out there. We're collecting packaged dog food. Dog and cat food for people who can't afford to buy food for their animals. And this is basically store bought, not opened, just
So people can buy stuff and just bring it here and put it in
bring
the
it
boxes.
here. There's a bin in the foyer, and then the ASPCA stops here and picks it up.
Oh, that's wonderful.
To help them. So if anybody has a something that they want us to assist them with, we'll be more than happy to do it.
And listen, guys, for everybody that's listening, so every week, and I love that you carried it on, every week, Mayor John Lane sends out a letter to the community. It's on Nixle. So you need to go to the Hawthorne website and sign up for that. If you're not getting those letters, and you know what, even for a lot of you guys, because I know a lot of people listen, they grew up in Hawthorne, but they moved away. If you just want to keep up on what's going on in town, sign up for the letter. The mayor sends it out every week.
Every Friday.
Every Friday it goes out, and I'm glad it's Friday. I don't like it on Monday. I'm glad it's. I could say that to you now because we're doing this, but because the previous mayor would have it every Monday, and I like at the end of the week. Here it is. It's kind of a weekend letter. You can digest everything that's happened and everything that's coming up. So I do appreciate that you've continued doing those letters.
And also, it's on Tap Into Hawthorne. We send it to Tap Into Hawthorne also.
Yeah.
And it's also on the Borough website. So we send it to several different outlets so that, if you don't have Nixle, you could,
sign up for Tap Into is also free. It's a free online paper.
It's free. I think they have close to maybe with 27 to 3,000, people that get all their news, and it's free.
Yeah. And Rebecca Green does a great job. John Van Vliet did a great job.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's wonderful that they picked that up.
A couple of the other things that I had promised too is working with our senior citizens. I've been working with a lady who's in charge of the nutrition center in Passaic County, who operate the lunch program and the facility at the ambulance corps.
Oh, okay.
We used to get, before the pandemic hit, we used to get 25, 30 people a day. Some of that has dropped off. Little by little, the people are coming back. But they are in the process, if they haven't done it already, to hire a new nutrition specialist. And they're going to elaborate on their programs. I'm not sure of exactly to what extent, but I even told them, I said, look, I'll pull the ambulances out of the building, and you can use the garage for exercising or
awesome.
or games or whatever you want it to play.
And you'll keep us updated.
It's in my letters.
On the letters? Good.
It's in my letters.
Good.
All right, my letters will go out every Friday, usually late afternoon, because sometimes Fridays are a little hectic.
Because you have other stuff to do?
But there's a couple other things that have to be done.
Yeah.
But the one thing that and I did do this at a council meeting, and it gave me much joy to do it. Going back to our emergency services, we have, as you know, our DPW water department have to have CEUs. They have to go back to school for learning, basically seminars, I should say. So they were at a seminar a while ago, probably in the middle of last year, and they're usually held at hotels or whatever, because there's it's anybody who has a license from the state is allowed to attend these. And there was a fellow that went down in the hallway. One of our water department members is also a member of, he's an EMT on our ambulance corps. He went to work and started CPR on the person.
Wow.
And by the time the ambulance got there and the police got there, because it wasn't in Hawthorne, it was, I don't know where it was, and actually saved the gentleman's life.
Really?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Last June or July.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, what I did was I actually presented him with a proclamation, a mayoral proclamation at one of our council meetings, outlining the entire procedure, what he did, and everything. And it was just, it gave me joy to do that.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean.
Well, that's just the thing. If you're serving in town, you're just serving people. It doesn't matter where you are.
Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Your training carries with you wherever
Anywhere.
you go.
Yeah.
And then, just to follow through with that, we had an incident that happened in the lower part of the borough. Again, this past summer, and it was a car ring, and it was somebody stealing a car, and the officers were there. And two of the detectives were actually in the area on another mission that they were on, and they heard basically not the call for help, but the call for assistance, and so they responded right away. And the one fellow who was handcuffed actually broke loose, and ran, and our officers chased him.
I remember reading that.
Into Patterson to the Sixth Ave Bridge, and he jumped off the bridge into the river. And two of our detectives, the one lieutenant and the one detective, actually went into the river and got him.
Yeah. I remember that. That's heroic. I mean,
yeah. So I did the same thing. At a council meeting, I presented them with a mayoral proclamation to congratulate them and thank them for their outstanding service that they did and that they performed for the community. It was just remarkable, and that was actually a car stealing ring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was bigger than just this incident.
Correct.
Yeah.
I just every day I'm here every day. I'm here all day long. I love what I do because in last December of 2021, actually I retired from my job. I worked for the township of Mahwah. For 33 years.
Wow.
Because a while back, then I retired from my business after 24 years. I was the assistant construction official and the electrical subcode official and the housing code official. So, it was great, and that allowed me to be here because I want to be involved.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on, and the staff that I have here is just fantastic.
Best,
I mean,
yeah.
my administrative assistant, my administrator, just absolute aces. I talked with both of them after I was elected to ask them if they would stay on, and they both agreed, and they're just. I can't. I put them on a pedestal. They're just great.
Well, and I tell you, last year, it was, I guess you can kind of call it post-pandemic, because we're finally able to have Hawthorne Day the way it should have been. And, oftentimes we take things for granted, like people just go to Hawthorne Day and see the booths and the rides and the things for the kids and the fireworks and the bands, but don't understand how much is involved in getting all that done. And I was fortunate enough to be on the committee to help out, and just to see the amount of work that's involved and have it all filtered through your office is just unbelievable.
Yes, it takes a year to put the whole thing together.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about that, this year is Hawthorne's 125th anniversary.
100, under your administration, 125 years.
Yeah. And
that's pretty wild.
We started meeting about 2.5 months ago. We're planning a number of items for this year.
Can you talk about any of those?
I can. We don't have everything finalized yet, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a function a quarter. So there's a function. Basically, it's going to be March 24th, and then there's going to be another one on around June 10th or 11th, and another one on September 30th, which is Hawthorne's Day, and then we're going to have a gala dinner dance, if that's what you want to call it, on December 2nd at Macaluso's.
Nice.
So the first one on March 24th is going to be like an ecumenical service, the history of Hawthorne. We're going to have the Caballeros participate. We're looking into...
Where's that going to be, do you know?
Probably right here in front of Town Hall.
Nice.
To just start the year off, and hopefully get as many people as we can. We're looking into different items that are not really in concrete yet, so I don't really want to say.
Sure.
But the next item, which would be in June, would be at the high school field to have the Caballeros participate again. The Caballeros probably will not be here on the 24th, but they'll be here in June.
Okay.
At the high school field with the alumni and with the actual corps, and we're going to have festivities there.
And what is the actual date of...
March 24th.
So March 24th is
the actual birthday.
The actual 125th birthday of Hawthorne.
Right. We're going to have...
That's pretty cool.
We're going to have some, like I said, an ecumenical service here. We're going to have coffee and hot chocolate and maybe some cake and stuff like that. And, we're just going to, do... hopefully do a great thing.
Yeah.
To kick off... the good weather and
exactly
and our birthday celebration.
Yeah, 125 years. I mean, it's and I love, if you guys haven't been on the Hawthorne historical Facebook pages, and I love that they every once in a while they'll post some images from back in that time. And I know that my house is actually right around that same age. It was built in 1888. So it's right around. There's a lot of those old houses. The John Ray house that was like 1810 something, and some of you could see some of the houses that were built right around when Hawthorne was incorporated.
Yeah. Well, Margot and I, my wife, and I bought a building on Lafayette Avenue, and that building was built in, I'm going to say, like either in 1890 or in the beginning of 1900s.
Wow.
And we've renovated it, and
and they stay up.
And they stay up. Yeah. They're solid as a rock.
Yeah. They're just like the town, just like Hawthorne itself.
Yeah. And just a couple of the other things that I promised, and didn't promise, but found out when I got elected. I got some inquiries from the employees and residents at the library pertaining to leaving the library when they close at night at 9 o'clock. It's so dark. So I was able to secure a grant for the outside lights.
Oh, for the lights in the parking lot.
And we put all new lights around the building,
Yeah.
took all the old ones down,
Yeah, yeah.
and put all the new ones up, and we saved the town over $20,000.
Wow.
Just for that, yeah. And then I did the same thing in our Rescue 5 building, which is where the rescue truck is on Lafayette and Goffel. They had old lights from different buildings that were taken down. Now we have new LED lights in the building.
Yeah, those last forever.
And we just finished installing a good-sized generator, because that building there is our backup emergency services dispatch center, both for ambulance, for police, and for fire. We're getting a whole new console there. Actually, the console's in already. We're doing that, and then the other thing was the radio communication system. It's well over 30 years, maybe even a little bit more.
Wow.
And that's why sometimes we don't want to have anybody who's out there ever not be able to communicate for assistance, meaning police, fire, or ambulance. So that we're in the process of ordering some equipment. It's going to be finalized that we're going to be going to the council within the first quarter of 2023 to appropriate the dollars for a whole new emergency service communication system.
Yeah, technology's changed a little bit over
Yes.
30 years.
Yeah, we hired an outside consultant who is not affiliated with any company, so that this way he can bring in the proper equipment that we need for emergency services, because being somewhere where you ask for help and it doesn't go through on the radio system is not a good thing.
No.
We don't want that, and I want to make sure that our emergency services are well taken care of, especially in communications.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very important aspect of our emergency services. And one of the other things that was started before I became mayor, and that is the police department traffic division. And I've expanded that traffic division because there's I get calls from people about speeding and parking, and people just not obeying the traffic laws, and they're cracking down. We already had a couple crosswalk inspections, I'll call it, where actually the police officer stepped off the curb, but the cars didn't stop, and just right down the road a little bit, the other police officers pulled them over.
Good.
Whether they gave them a ticket or not, I don't know, but just to be aware of the pedestrian crossings. And
Well, and I have to say, I have noticed that more drivers are stopping for pedestrians, because I know that wasn't happening for the longest time.
Right.
And I do feel like there is a shift with the drivers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other thing, we've put a lot more, I would say over a dozen more stop signs up in Hawthorne.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
Because people use our streets as cut through, and it's not it's not good for our people, because the people that are using it for a cut through are commuters or people from out of town that use it to go to 208 or go wherever. So we're addressing that. We're addressing some problems on Rav Extension and North Watchung. We're also looking at just upgrading the appearance of safety. The resident safety, whether you're in your car or walking, is very important to me, and I don't want any of our residents being hurt. because of some driver just not obeying the traffic laws.
Yeah.
So it is ongoing, and the other thing that I'm in the process right now, I've asked my traffic division to go through town, and I want to all of the streets that belong to the borough of Hawthorne. I'm lowering the street signs to 25 miles an hour, because if they're 30, which some of them are 35, you tend to go a little bit faster than what's
Yeah.
posted.
Yeah.
So I want to lower them to 25, and this way, hopefully, it'll slow a number of people down, so that it's safe. We have a lot of people walk in town. We have a tremendous amount of children in town that play in their own yard and play in their front yard, and I just want it to be safe.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is that if you're going 35, 40 miles an hour and there's a pedestrian standing in a crosswalk waiting to cross the street, you're not going to be able to slow down. You're
Right.
not going to be able to slow down and stop.
Correct.
So they can pass. So
That's
I
correct.
appreciate that.
But it's different things like that we do, and what we've done, not just under my leadership, but under the leadership of past mayors. Every year we pave a tremendous amount of roads. Last year we paved 2.2 miles of roads.
Is that right?
Yes, and also did some work with sidewalks to make them safer.
Yeah.
If for some reason, and we are working on a plan with the sidewalks and the trees. It probably will be able to finalize it sometime this first quarter. So I don't want to really get into too much, but we are working on that to help the residents.
Sure. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and that's important, because right now there are trees, and we've changed the way. Not it started a while ago, because we did hire an arborist who is top notch.
Yeah, I met him.
He's
We
top
had him on the
notch.
show.
He sleeps and eats trees.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think his name is a tree, right? Alberta or something.
Alberta. Yes, and he's great, and it's just something that is we have to do.
Yeah.
And and going back to, I know I'm going all around here, but going back to my administrator and my administrative assistant, the employees that we have in town, they're just excellent. I mean, the employees here at Town Hall that work here, I mean, they work their tails off.
Well, and you also have a lot of lifelong residents.
We do.
That are doing this.
We have a lot. Almost all of our residents all of our employees are residents of the community.
Yeah.
We have a lot of our emergency services. Well, almost 99% of our fire department
Yeah, all
is
from
in
town.
Hawthorne.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, again, 99% of our ambulance corps is in Hawthorne. And I'm going to say the same thing for the police department.
Yeah.
When they were hired, they may have not lived in Hawthorne, but they saw what Hawthorne has and what Hawthorne brings out. They moved to Hawthorne. They bought a house and moved to Hawthorne. So that just takes community pride.
Yeah.
All three services, along with our residents, just
Yeah. And our mayor.
and our mayor.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I have to say, I really thank you. I'm glad that you brought up the promises, because oftentimes when people are running for office, they make all these promises, and then they get in office, and you kind of forget what was on the flyer, and you forget on what was on all the material. So I appreciate the fact that you went through it item by item.
Well, you're welcome, because it's important to me. In the past, our budget, and the council, does approve the budget. It's a work in progress, both with the administration, myself and my administrator, and the council, to come up with a budget that's fair, that is not going to strap anybody, and also that is going to be able to continue to do some of the infrastructure that's warranted in town, and provide for the town as to what to keep it beautiful.
Well, that's the other thing is you can't celebrate 125 years of existence without fixing some of the aging issues in the community. I mean, they have to be done.
Right. Last year, I in my campaign promises, I told people, and it was written, that I will try to keep the budget under 2%. It was 3.5%, and the reason that it was 3.5% is because of all the items that we fixed up.
Yeah.
And what we're going through. What's it going to be this year? I don't know. We're trying to get as much done as we can with as little dollars as we have, but there will be an increase. I don't know what it's going to be yet because Eric, my administrator, is still working on it with our finance committee from the council and myself to see what projects we have. We do have flooding. We do have storm sewer. We have sanitary. We have water that has to be addressed, and we can't do everything in one year. But if we chip away at it each year, we'll be able to hopefully get to it where it's comfortable. And that's one of the things about development. I mean, the Vista has started to pay taxes now. The only thing is, when they came to our planning board, they didn't build as many units as they had anticipated, but they still got a tax bill, and they're paying their taxes. When the development on Wagor Road completes, they'll be paying taxes.
Sure. And
when the other new development that's court ordered again on Goffel Road gets developed, they'll be paying taxes. And I'm proud to say that last year we had 33 businesses move into town.
Wow.
And
there was a lot of grand openings.
Yes, there were. Yes,
Kept you busy.
Yes, and I'm proud of that. Just that 2 weeks ago at a planning board meeting, we approved five additional businesses moving into town.
That's great. It's good tax dollars.
People are, yes, and we don't have open storefronts. We still have a little, but a little at a time. We're getting to them, we're working very hard every day, and we're working very hard for the residents of our community to keep our community, going and thriving with it, and we're working closely with the Chamber of Commerce, with some of the shop local, eat local.
Sure.
They're very important projects that we have, and with that, going back to the NPP, there's going to be a map going out. It's a little fold, and it's going to be in a number of the stores. So if you're out there and you go into a store and you see it, or ask for the NPP map, it's the whole NPP area. It designates on a map where all the different stores are.
Oh, okay.
They're highlighted in by section, whether you're a cleaners or whether you're a bakery or a delicatessen or whatever. So that's going to be very helpful for our residents.
Sure.
So that this way they know, oh, there's a delicatessen there. Let me go, get a sandwich or something.
Yeah.
Which is good because.
And you'll put that in your letter. You'll attach that when it's ready.
It's ready.
You'll
They're gonna be out. We have all the maps already done. We had a couple
nice.
thousand maps already printed up.
Oh, great! Can I pick one up on the way out?
Absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll post it. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
It's great. And we have a little stand for them to be in.
Nice.
And it fits right in your pocket.
That's perfect.
It's really good. The MPP committee is just doing a phenomenal job, and it all goes to the stakeholder and the actual coordinator, which is Ellen Brogno.
She coordinates everything.
Everything.
She is
everything.
She is unbelievable.
Everything.
And listen, guys,
very proud of her.
You can always call up and just say thank you, because it's oftentimes you don't see what everybody's doing, And I know just in the couple of years that I've been doing this, she has been critical, just coordinating all of the events in town. I mean, she really is an amazing person.
And I don't know how much longer we want to go, but just saying, as I stated in my State of the Borough address at the council meeting in January, if you have a question, if you have a problem, if you have a concern, or you want to tell me there's a problem in your neighborhood or whatever, or you want to say a pat on the back, whatever, call me. I'm here every day. I take your call. If I'm in a meeting, I will return the call. And I want to hear from you, because whether it's good or bad, I want to hear from you, because I don't want you to, have a problem and should I call the mayor or should I not call the mayor? Call me.
Yeah, because a lot of people, and you guys have heard me say this in the past, a lot of people will take to social media and they'll complain on social media, and I always go up there and I say, listen, complaining here does nothing. Nothing gets accomplished by complaining on social media. If you have an issue, pick up the phone and make a phone call and then talk about it. At least open the communication. And I appreciate you saying that.
Well, I all the people who call me, whether it be good or bad, I enjoy talking to them because they're residents.
Yeah.
I'm representing them.
Yeah.
And I want to represent them to the best of my ability, to the best knowledge that I have, and whatever your concern is, let's address it.
What is the number? Do you know offhand?
It's 973-427-1168. And the recording will say, welcome to Hawthorne. For the mayor's office, hit 1. For the administrator's office, hit 2. When you hit 1, you'll get Ellen Brogno, my assistant, and she'll put the call through to me. If I'm in a meeting, she'll take a message, and I'll call you back.
Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. Happy 125th birthday.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll get everybody out there on March 24th to celebrate. That's it, right? March 24th?
March 24th.
The actual birthday of Hawthorne, New Jersey, 125 years. And it's pretty awesome that it's under your watch.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I really am. Right behind you is the book of the 100th anniversary. And it's just, I'll show it to you.
Is it going to be one for 125?
I'm sure we'll be able to have another one for 125
Yay.
at the end, with all the pictures that'll be taken. At the end of the of the year, because that book was given to me from our historical commission.
Wow.
And it's just it's great. I'll be more than happy to share it with you. It's just
I
great.
do have to run to the airport though.
Okay. Take the car. It's easier.
Yeah. So guys, listen. March 24th. Make sure you come out. Show the town support. And again, if you have any questions, the mayor's he gave out his number. You can call up, you could talk to Ellen, she'll put the call through to Mayor John Lane. And, you have any questions or concerns, or every once in a while, a word of praise, a word of thanks, a word of niceness and kindness and consideration. I know that, he wouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it. It's not a bad thing to be able to call up and say, hey, I just wanted to say thank you for putting up the little flashing pedestrian lights on Golf Road, or for fixing the roads here and there and doing what you can with the sidewalks. So I will say it openly that I appreciate everything that you and your administration has done. And last year, coming out of the pandemic, being able to celebrate Hawthorne Day the way we were able to, without a penny coming from the residents.
That event is put on tax-free.
Tax-free. So again, a word of thanks.
And last year was probably
best year ever.
The best year ever. And last year, actually, corporations, homeowners, businesses donated more money than ever.
Yeah, I think everybody was ready to get out.
And we're going to have a bigger and better one this year.
This is 125 years.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get Debbie Harry. I keep trying to get Debbie Harry to come out and celebrate with us. But all right, guys. So listen. March 24th, hope to see you there. I will post the NPP map so you guys can see it. It'll be on the Towncast Facebook page, and we'll put it on Instagram. And we'll keep you posted on the events. We'll keep posting events as they come up. And let's celebrate 125 years together, right?
Excellent. Great.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me,
I really
Fabio.
appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate it very much.
All right, everybody, be well.